The need for better nutrition was recognized in SDG Go-To, which aims to end hunger, improve food security, and promote sustainable agriculture. Let's have a conversation on the back of this. My name is Enyunam, and this is Ghanaian Farmer, brought to you by Lizzie and Leaf Tomato Mix. My guest, CEO of Baffour Organics, has spent or stayed over 25 years in the U.S., returned to Ghana and started organic farming, organic gardening, or anything you can call it. And why we should adopt this concept is the 360 organic farming that he's doing. And so let's go for a quick break. That when we come back, we would ask him to tell us more about the inspiration. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying with us. If you just tune in, you're watching The Ghanaian Farmer. My name is Enyunam, and today our focus is all about sustainable agriculture. How do we adopt and make use of all the natural organic things we have around, like the chicken manure, like the rabbit manure, the rice husk, and everything? That is what Mr. Che Baffour from home, who has spent over 25 years in the U.S. and returned to Ghana, has been doing all those years. How long has it been since you started this?
It's been 10 years, actually.
10 years. Whoa. Now, when we say sustainable agriculture or sustainable gardening, what exactly are we talking about?
Basically, I would rather say more of a circular.
Okay.
Where you convert your waste, right, through your food waste, through manure, and your seeds even. Like you buy tomatoes, you have a lot of seeds, you can save some. Okay. Right, and regrow. Okay. Right, and sustainable also generally means being able to feed yourself within your space, I'll call it. Okay. Which is your house or the farmers, whatever space you have. That's called sustainable.
What was the drive? What triggered this, love or desire to start something like this?
I would say life. I mean, when you see, there are a few things I realized. Right? And I realized that the food security of Ghana and how we have our food, I've not been worried with that. Okay. And I saw a lot of people, as they get older, they get sick, and sickness that meaning somebody has never smoked before, you see them getting cancer. Yes. Right, or never drank, they get cancer. So the richer the people get, they'll be the faster they die. So I realized that to be able to stay in Ghana and live long, I have to consider a lot of things. Simple things like air pollution. Right. So I looked at food, which I did a little research from the markets. You go to our Blushi, you go to every market, how it's done. And when we want to go and buy food, you don't see the source it came from. You only see the harvested or produce. Even simple thing like you, the man giving the money to the woman, or the woman giving the money to the house girl to go to the farm to bring it, and to go to the farm to buy the market to buy it. You don't know what she buys. She'll buy the cheapest to come home to save some money. And also, she doesn't even know the source. So it may look nice and everything, but you don't know the content. And you come prepare, you come from work, the food is ready to eat, but you don't know what you're consuming. Gradually. Yeah. So eventually, this toxicity builds up. Right, and without our lifestyle, I mean, you go to office, you are sitting, you are not exercising, so you are not even doing a lot to detox yourself. So those things made me, after losing few friends having, what do you call it, little food and like food poisons, which even in high hotels, right, it became a concern. Right. So deciding to move back to Ghana, as I've always thought. Yeah. One of the things I decided to do is not about building a house. Right. It's about knowing what to eat and where my food comes from. Exactly. Well done on that. Now, are you able to tell me how many types of vegetables and fruits you have here? Well, I'll be able to tell. Just mention a few. Maybe I've got kale, which is one of the superfoods. I've got like about 5 types of lettuce, which mostly Ghanaians only know is one. And even the kale, I've got about 4 types. I've got like Swiss chard, I've got beetroot, I've got about 4 basils, I've got like 7 mint. Right. And but mainly I see pawpaw here. I see pawpaw, I've got turmeric, I even have percocet, I have spinach, right. I have dawa. Okay. You know, I mean.
Well done. Now, so what went into selecting this specific seedlings? Why?
Actually, that one is like as to how much seed I get.
Okay.
And also at times I have this book that I read about nutrition. So I see what food, what stuff really gives me more nutrition. And also my target is, because of course I've lived outside, my target was more about if it was good there, just as Tete Kwashi also bought cocoa. What can I bring to add what we have indigenous to add? So some of these things are not so common here.
Okay.
Right, like we have contemporary import, but growing up I never knew of kale.
Okay.
Right, so kale is one of the stuff that I saw there, mustard green and all those things are stuff. So knowing the value and the nutrients, I decided to add it here so that we can also make use of it.
Do you buy all the seeds here in Ghana?
No.
Where do you buy them from?
Recently I've got some from all over, Switzerland, England, and America,
okay.
and at times South Africa.
Okay.
But there are some few seed companies here that I find about.
Yes. Okay. I know there's a lot,
yes.
But how much do you invest into buying the seeds?
Oh, let me tell you the truth. I can afford it. That's why I'm doing 100% organic.
Okay.
And also for my main, where I eat what I consume. It hasn't been so much sustainable because the investment is huge.
Okay.
Right? You could buy like an average pack of seed. I mean an average pack of seed for about 100 cedis.
Okay.
Of 1,000.
Right.
Right? But most farmers will not spend that because that same type of seed with another version you can get it for maybe 10 cedis.
All right. Okay. Now let's mention what goes into the pots, because this is pure organic.
Yes.
What and what makes up the base before the seed is even exactly? Mention them one after the other.
I mean, well, that's a business secret, but we are here to share. So
Yes.
Normally, plant takes 25% nutrients from the soil.
Okay.
So basically, I saw that the black soil we have, right, it is not as so supposedly clean as we do, based on our way of littering or our garbage way we put to landfill. You use mosquito spray, you dump it in, all that. So it becomes the toxicity was high and acidity. So I started using a medium which I use sawdust, right? Sawdust from the finished mushroom product.
Right.
When they finish mushroom goes through sterilization.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Then I use rice husk.
Okay.
I have it's about 4 types of manure. I used to have quail.
Okay.
I used to have rabbit. Rabbit urine and the waste itself is one of the most potent manure. And I have chicken. So what I do is, and some of the time, the weeds that I collect here,
they all added
together,
put into the container.
And you cure it, you mix it for a minute.
Okay.
So like you let it stay for like a month, then you put it in the container.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Where do you buy these containers from?
Why? Because you see, when you say there's something called infiltration.
Okay.
If you see down here, as much as it's on the ground, there's also something also covered.
Yes.
I realized that, on the ground as the soil access, if it rains here, there's a lot of floods.
Oh, okay.
So somebody can spray their house, and as the rain moves through your place, the chemical can contaminate your soil. So in pots, it normally drains down. It doesn't drain up. And also I encapsulate by putting stuff on the floor like you see here.
Yes.
So that way there's no anything from the soil entering the plant.
Okay, but I see sacks as well, and then I see pots made of, dust.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know that each of these fruits or vegetables have durations.
Yes.
How do you go about keeping an eye on each of them? I mean, let's talk about the process, watering them, who needs what. How do you go about that?
Okay, mainly, the divine made it such a way that just when you are sick as a being, you don't feel yourself.
Right.
You can wake up in the morning and you see a plant like that you know that maybe it needs water. When you see it by its coloring, you could tell what nutrients is lacking. right? So that's another way. But we've made it in such a way that because of the nature of our soil, which is very porous, because of the sawdust and other stuff, which makes it loamy, that to me that's the best. The only thing is that because of that, we need to water it every day.
Okay. Each of them. Okay.
So that is the
every day. Is it once or twice?
Once.
Okay.
We do it in the evening,
okay,
so that it gives a longer respiration for it to get for the better use. And because of the sun, the heat of the sun, when you do it in the morning and the sun comes early, right? It can really make it harder. Some of the roots that are very spring or very light root can have issues.
Right.
So normally we do it in the evening.
Okay. All right, so we are still talking about sustainable agriculture, sustainable gardening, sustainable whatever you can talk about, because if we are always concerned about, better nutrition, ending hunger, and improving food security, what do we need to do? And that is what Mr. Baffour, who returned from US stayed there for 25 years, returned for the past 10 years, and this is what he's been doing. If you are here in Ghana, now if you're broaching a buyer, start doing something. I'm going for a quick break. I'll be right back after this. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying. You're still watching The Ghanaian Farmer. My name is Enyunon, and my guest is Mr. Baffour, CEO of Baffour Organics. I know each of those vegetables or fruits have duration or maturity stage. Now, what is the difference? I mean, let's take the pawpaw versus mint. What's the maturity stage between these two?
It's hard to.
Okay.
Pawpaw matures when you see fruit.
Okay.
Right, when it's fruit.
Okay, let me say, at what stage do you sell it to me if I want to take it to my house?
Here is a farm where we do from seedlings. Once it shoots up, if you want to do, if you're a farmer or you're interested in buying something, at any stage you can sell.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But you can sell just to go eat. But our plan main is that something like the lettuce, for instance, we sell it in pots.
Okay.
So that way, just in case you want to make a sandwich,
you don't harvest it.
You don't harvest it.
You sell it with a whole pot.
If you want to harvest it, you can.
Okay.
But our concept is because we want to also introduce people into the farming. What we do is we give you the pot, it's potted. You have it as fresh. It gives you the sense of it being starting to watering and building up the joy and knowing where your food is coming from. And something like if you live alone or you don't have a big family, or maybe you are just doing a sandwich, you don't need a bulk. You can just pluck few leaves, right, and the plant is still rooted. So anytime you want to have it, you have it fresh, harvested.
All right. Among all the stuff you have here, which one sells faster?
Now, I just introduced a new plant, a new mint form. It's called a new mint. It's called Japanese mint. Everybody wants it. Everybody that I've seen that wants it. The lettuce, people want it, but because of the variety, Ghanaians are a bit conservative. So it's only the expats and the people who have lived outside that goes for the romaine, the melarusa, the colorful ones. But those are the ones I also want to introduce because food is also by sight. And also the nutrition base, the variety we have, just in case maybe one day we don't have the green, then we can also fall on other stuff.
How much is it sold? Can we mention a few of the?
Yeah, like the base price starts from 20 when it's mature. Yeah, but the seed and stuff, some of them we do like 3 for 10 seeds. Or even depending upon the stage, you can do 4 for 10 seeds. And 100% organic.
Right. Nobody goes into a specific thing without looking at the end result. Profit. You are a businessman. What you have been doing for the past 10 years, is it worth your time? Is it worth your investment? What would you have to say about this?
I'm blessed, I would say, because I have a whole story, and I think God has blessed me a lot. And in blessing, He blessed you to give. So business-wise, initially, it wasn't my motive. It was so I made it like a hobby. As I've moved back to Ghana, I was going to do commercial real estate. So I had a lot of time to my hands, and to distress myself, I started going into this. But I'm blessed with a business mind as well. So knowing this, yes, it makes sense. Because I think that it's a niche market that, like every other successful business, you don't expect overnight success, but you build upon it. And from where I started, small from my house, and to now, and what God has inspired me into, like now, you see my house, I'm living in the building. I have a house in East Legon, but I used to commute before. I bought this land in 99. And now, I was supposed to do apartments, about almost 80 units, but I've written it all off. So I'm now doing a sustainable living where you can, it's called Lake Estate, outside Accra, where everything that you grow, everything right from your house. Just as you came, I just walked out of my house. I didn't have to drive, so I'm saving fuel, less emission, right? Pollution into the air, and it's a farm pick market, so people come to the farm. So that alone, you save some money.
All right, so that brings me to, who are your clientele? Do they order for you to deliver, or they come by to pick it up?
No, I'm still working on it. Normally people come in, right? We are still working on our e-platform so that we can do more of delivery. But that's why we bought these small farms. And we are doing a lot of, but we have like some weekend markets that like, like a camel market in Dubois, which we pay periodically to go, or if you hear of any market. But we are still looking for, normally I don't want to really target like a target market where they will put more stuff and markup on it, so that it doesn't become like easy for anybody to do. My aim is to be able to produce where the ordinary person can also afford.
All right, so when I buy my lettuce, for instance, how long do you think I can be harvesting and consuming before it finishes and I have to replace or buy another pot from you?
That is relative, because depending on how many you buy. Normally we do like a bowl salad, so you have 3, so you are taking each, from maybe 3 leaves from each. Normally, lettuce about 8 to which is about 2 months to listen. Then it gets a bit bitter. I don't mind the bitterness. But also, when you leave it, if you don't cut it from the root, but you pluck the leaves, it grows to like a flower, and out of the flower you get seeds. So if you want to maybe plant it again, then you can plant it.
Do you do re-extraction?
As to using the seeds, yes, we do partially.
Does it do well?
It does. It does. But also, some part of the business is that because of the busyness of maybe a market or targeted market now, what we're looking to do is create like a form of subscription. So we will give you your required need for the week, and when it's done, we come back and replace it. Take the old one and replace it. Because our system is recyclable.
All right. So each of these vegetables or the fruit you have here, what kind of weather best suits them? Because I know each and every person, some may like very sunny, some may like very windy or anything. What kind of weather is good for them?
Normally, that is one of my challenges. But what I've done is, when looking at this, I've done mostly open this. What do you call it? Open farm, right? Because you see, the problem is climatization. Normally we do most of the stuff. We tell you you cannot do it in this weather, but it's because it's not tested. Some of them are not tested. Some of them will not succeed, like strawberries and stuff. We have a medium of doing it. But majority of what I grow, sorts are, are tropical seeds, which are normally specified, not buying. And I tried to do them in the open. So that way, I know that they can sustain our weather. So most of the ones are, almost everything I have here can be sustainable.
I see you have some form of shade, which is, the fabric is more of the greenhouse. Why that?
This, initially, I started with the shading. Like that. Normally, I prefer that we need more of like a net place than, say, a greenhouse. Because every plant needs photosynthesis. Right? So basically, it's not how much, it's not the sun per se, it's the pest control that in Africa is our problem, or most problem. But this one, in some plants, it gives you certain exposures to say how much sun does it allow. Some give you like 40%, 50%. But when you look at the pH, normally you see that most average plants needs between 40 to no more than even 55 degrees of sun exposure. So this next year, just to be able to have like these are plants here, not only for human, like the coolness for you to walk in with stuff and the presentation, it's calculated for the exact need
of the plant. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you ever change the medium? Do you ever change this from the pot? When you fill the pot with the manure and other stuff, do you ever change it?
Normally,
like replace. Do you pour it out? And
Okay. When it's finished, maybe you come and carry for you.
Okay.
Right? You replace it, you mix it up again.
Okay.
Introduce more nutrients to it. Right, and let it sit to manure.
Okay.
So
it means that you
recycle it.
Okay.
Recycle it.
Okay.
Same soil.
Okay. All right. So we are going for 60 seconds on our break. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up our interview with Mr. Baffour. He is the CEO of Baffour Organics. Everything organic. This is the right place to be or talk to. I'll be right back after this. Gone by our 60 seconds on our break. My name is Enyunam, and today our focus is on sustainable agriculture. How do we end hunger? How do we better, in nutrition? How do we improve food security? How do we make use of the manures? I mean, from the poultry to the rabbits and everything that we have. How do we make use of it and eat what we grow in our home? Mr. Baffour, before we wrap up on our interview, for this past 10 years that you've been doing this, has there been any time that you've had issues with infection, pests, attacks, and how do you control that? Do you even have visitation from any MOFA Agric Extension officer? Do you consult them or anything?
We've got a few of them, but like you rightly know, the technocrats to me are not so much into helping.
Okay.
Right? They come, they don't really, it's like, I personally feel that you have to take your life into your own hands. More than that these days information is accessible. Okay. But what I do is, because most of my plants are imported, all the plants are imported. Yeah. When we detect any disease, normally you can move it out before it spreads. Or you can use neem
to treat it.
Okay. Or ashes, like our old grandmothers used to do. Like most of the
charcoal ash. Okay.
You can use that. Or at times what we do is, for instance, I normally walk through in the morning, right? When I see a trace of anything, I physically deal with it or cut it off. So that is, but like every business, you have to make provision for bad debt. So maybe 10% of it is going to go down bad, which is also part of your research and study. Okay. So that is the most important. I think most of the time, it's more, the environment is exposed. Unlike outside, where there's zoning, that we say, okay, we've zoned a farm area. So at one point, the whole farm is, everybody around there is spraying or doing something in control. Yeah. But here in the opening, right, nobody is doing organic stuff here. Okay. So if there's anything here, it's easy for you to come onto your property. Okay. So you just have to keep an eye and make sure that you go around
every time to check. Okay.
And we do that every morning.
Okay. Now, about food security, about ending hunger and improving nutrition, what do you think the necessary steps should be? The Ministry of Agriculture will tell you they are doing their bit, but what do you think we have to do moving forward? Yesterday I posted something about drone usage for commercial farms and how it's improving agriculture. And there was a gentleman, he's an expatriate, who said, no, agriculture in Ghana can do better. You are not making use of the vast land you have. And besides, relying on drones is not the solution to the problem. There's more we can do. What do we have to do?
Okay. You see, agric first must be looked at this. How important do you see food? My concept is, if everybody sees food as medicine, but not medicine as food, then whatever you are buying, you want to be able to make sure that your intake is coming from a well source. When you go to the restaurants, you should be able to have labels that tells you where the restaurant sources food is sourced from.
I saw that in a documentary somewhere in South Africa. Yes. You get to see the fisherman, where it is kept.
Well, those things are one.
Yes.
So it's the governmental way of maybe enforcing that. And secondly, government have to bridge up the chain between the farmer and the consumer. Because you see, whatever you do, the food benefit doesn't really reflect on the farmer's pocket. So he has to sustain himself. So he will do anything to compromise to be able to make a living. And thirdly, the seeds that we get from Ghana. Most of the seeds are not meant to be like if you buy a seed, you see they say F1 seed or GMOs and all that. All these seeds, right, don't help the farmer. And not only we don't know what is in there, so we also have to think about building our seed banks in Ghana as the agri department. So then whatever seed we have, we know that it's a quality seed. I read a documentary where China was producing seeds where when you grow, it contaminates your soil. Did you get it? Modesta and other big companies, they are giving you seeds that when you grow, you cannot use the same produce. The seeds out of it to regrow. So they are taking our power and our food security. So if you're talking about food security, you should look into first the seed. Secondly, the alternative way of agric, which will make it attractive to the young ones. Because when my knowledge of agric, which my grandmother was a farmer, right? It's just go weed down, bend down, and there's no money. Right? But now, if you make it presentable, like I'm doing here in cups, I'm not saying I get dirty, right? But it's not as serious. But people rather do horticulture, spend time in flowers. So let's present food like flower. Right? And the joy of you eating, the joy of you knowing where it came from, and your effort put in. And with that, small family starts doing like we used to do, feed yourself. And from there, people will see the benefit, and government should zone and also support people like me who are into it to make in such a way that even within municipals, we should be able to have lands, available lands to be able to sell,
community garden,
to organize. So there's a lot we can do, and I think Ghana, when you talk about food security, we don't have a problem with food security. It's just our mind that we need to set that we really want to do it.
Any regret for this 10 years you spent in Ghana?
The regret is at times, when it gets to harvesting, you look at your food, you're stuck there, and nobody's buying. But the good thing is, if they are not buying, I give it to my animals, like my rabbits. So then out of the rabbits, I get my way. So I've been able to. Again. And like I said, thank God I can afford it.
Thank God he can afford it. My name is Hanyanam, and next to me is Mr. Baffour Frimpong, right? Baffour Frimpong, 25 years in the US, back in Ghana for 10 years, and this is what he's been doing, sustainable agriculture.
And I live in my farm.
Right, and he stays in his farm. I'll show you.
An acre in Maribor Homes.
So you see? Right, so he will leave his number on the screen, and then if you need more consultation or to buy from him or any kind of training, you get in touch with him and he'll help you. But thanks for watching. See you next week.